to get into the left versus the right in messaging about all this stuff, you have the right wing that, all their little pundits, from the top to the bottom, they get a lot of help from backers of the Republican Party, corporate right wing, corporate owners, right wing billionaires, and the Republican Party in it of itself, and the RNC. They get funding directly from those guys, and they also get a bunch of like corporate sponsorships. So there's a lot of money in lying for the right and spreading their lies, spreading hatred, spreading fear, spreading misinformation, lying about the Democratic Party. Again, I have no love lost for the Democratic Party. Um, I don't think they're perfect in any way. Lots of them, I think, are corrupt, and they are insufficient in their leadership. Um, and many of them, I think they would be more than happy to just switch parties, and they would fit right in because their politics are basically on point with the Republican brand. There are some people in the Democratic Party, again, albeit few and far between, that are a lot more honest, that actually are fighting for the people, and the ones that, like, what to look for when you're looking for a fighter. You're looking for a bold truth teller. You're looking for somebody who does not take corporate PAC money or lobbyist money, and they don't interface with those people, and they'll throw bombs even at their party members that are showing insufficient leadership, and they're just putting on blast the right wing, because that is where we should be directing our ire. We should be directing it up. You should never be punching down, because the people below you, they don't have power to do anything. Are you kidding me? Like, the idea, like, I'll say this. One thing that pisses me off about the quote unquote left, which is a big spectrum of different people. But we have prominent people in the left, like I'll say names, and I don't, listen, don't take this the wrong way. Some of these creators I'm about to name, I really appreciate the work that they do in most of the content that they produce. I think they're very useful people. I think they're not useful. I think they're good people with good intentions. But I don't know what it is, but it seems like when people get big enough, they have a tendency to punch left, and they punch left a lot. And I don't know what that is. And the biggest problem on the left, and again, I understand it, but there's a lot of left punching that happens. There's a lot of division that I wish didn't happen, because we need to have a populist left movement, and we need to get on the same page with some key issues. We need to have an agenda. We need to have a plan. We need to have a platform. We need to say, this is what I'm against, this is the problem, and these are the solutions. These are the things that we have to address first. But like, I keep hearing Park Rose permaculture left punch. I've seen Hawk left punch, and then prominent figures like Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian from TYT, like, they got into it so much I had to stop watching them. I almost stopped watching Park Rose permaculture because of a recent video that just irritated the hell out of me. Like, it sounds like she's pissed off at like communists and people that are getting into like accelerationism and do some problematic things. But like, guys, if you're listening to me and you're a content creator and you're trying to reach people, what I would encourage you to do, don't punch left. Avoid punching left, because the right wing already does that enough. They already infiltrate our groups enough. I'm pretty sure there's bot accounts that are antagonizing people on the left to try to cause division and to minimize what we can do, minimize our reach. I think what we should do instead is call out the things kind of on a priority kind of basis, like call out behavior that we see that is problematic, in particular behavior that's dangerous or counterproductive. Like, don't punch left. Just say, listen, I'm seeing certain things here, and I'm going to talk about those things that I think are problem for our collective movement. Like, don't encourage violence. Don't encourage property destruction. If you think that things can get better for us by accelerating things to get even worse faster, I think you're probably missing something critical there. And I'm not sure you're factoring in the amount of harm that could be done by doing that. Like, you have to consider if your actions could do more harm, right? And if you think they can, please don't do that. Don't encourage it, right? Like, we do not need anybody who is out there trying to protest, causing any violence. And also, we have to be careful that we don't do things that sort of normies think is violent, right? A lot of normies think that property destruction is violence. A lot of normies will get really put off at the idea of somebody burning the American flag, even though it's a First Amendment right. Like it's protected under our First Amendment. We shouldn't. We should probably consider not doing that. Taking the sort of symbols of patriotism, I think we should reclaim those, right? And that's the other thing. We should be telling people what they should do instead. Like, I hear your anger, I understand your frustration. I I feel like you don't feel like you have representation, and there are many truths in those things. That is true. The left does not have a political party to be affiliated with in a way where we feel like we're truly represented. And we don't really feel like there is much for us to latch onto in the Democratic Party. In the Democratic Party, the establishment of it, like most of the members, will punch left at the first opportunity. They'll punch left. They'll like if they lose an election, who are they going to blame first? They're going to blame the left. They're going to blame like, oh, you're too radical and you're too unreasonable. And the left is just it's kind of a boogeyman. It's like, or it's a straw man that they can just claim that it can be it's like a shapeshifter straw man device. Like I just saw Stephen A. Smith. He's like a sportscaster guy. Sometimes I like his opinions, and other times I'm like, I don't know why you're so far off on politics, but you are. Like he went on Jon Stewart the other day, and Jon Stewart kind of corrected him a bit, rightfully so. But his take was the left was the reason why we lost the presidential election. No, no. I mean, all of us can have our own opinion about why Kamala Harris lost. Some people will say this country is very misogynist. Yeah, that's true. Some people will say that um, this country is very racist, and a lot of people in this country are white supremacists. Yeah, that's true. Some people will say that Biden's restrictions on Kamala Harris, that there shouldn't be any daylight between what she says and thinks and what the policy should be moving forward, are, and there shouldn't be any looking back and criticizing Biden, which is that was very problematic. Like I don't think it makes sense to have somebody who's trying to run in such a short time frame and under there was a lot of things that the Biden administration was really not popular on, because the Democrats have not really stood 10 toes down for the people enough. Like the people in middle America have felt left behind since probably, I don't know, the 80s or so, since the Reagan era. I don't think some of them realize that's when it was, but that's when it kind of happened. Like every Democrat since Reagan has been more and more right wing, including Obama. Um, and you can disagree with me on that. I don't care. It doesn't matter. We all can have our opinion, but um, the economic policies, the neoliberalism crap, the locking us into working with billionaires and capitalists with these public-private partnerships when the government has plenty of weight to throw around that could do more for the people. And the tax policy sucks. The amount of money we keep spending on the military sucks. Having a weakened social and economic safety net for people is not enough. Giving more opportunities for corporations and private equity to buy up more and more assets, including homes, it's not enough. It's not good. And now we have to deal with this like abundance agenda garbage. And then the fact that we didn't really have a primary, that some people saw the Democrats just choose Kamala Harris. And again, I understand why they did that, but like largely, I think that was Biden's fault. He should have been a one-term president, and he should have been, allowing like a robust process to happen where leaders can come forward so they can have like more or less like start having an election, like start the election process and candidate selection by the people, early, like right, like you get sworn in, and then we gotta start picking new leaders because our that's the way that things work now. Like we have like a forever election process. And Trump, did Trump stop running from when he started running? Did he ever stop running? Dude was like constantly doing rallies and stuff. That's what we're up against. We're up against that. We're up against the whole media machine, all of it. So, and then what was going on in Gaza? Like it didn't help that Biden is an avid Zionist. That's not popular. Like that's not popular with like people having a live stream genocide happening since October 8th, 2023. That's when I have it because I think that's just true. Other people will disagree with me, and I don't care about that. Um, you know, I don't agree that Israel has a right to defend itself because um, the ICCJ says so because it's an apartheid state. Palestinians are occupied in Gaza by Israel, and I don't agree with like I don't agree when civilian people are attacked by organizations like Hamas is the government of Gaza, and they have a military, not a big one, but they attacked Israelis, and all Israelis of adult age have to serve in the Israel's military. So in a sense, like unless they're younger than adult age, they could be kind of considered military targets. And again, I don't like the violence. I don't like anything that was being done, kidnapping and all that stuff. But like you have to go back and understand the conflict there that the United States has a hand in. So with the left punching, I think we have to stop doing that. I think we should call out specific behaviors. And I think we should suggest positive alternatives. We should actually be meaningful when we say we want to do harm reduction. Part of harm reduction is stop harming ourselves, stop harming our movement by infighting, because we're up against a militant right in terms of messaging, generally speaking. Like the Republicans are like locked in on what they believe and what they're promoting, even if it's all lies, which it generally is. Um, they're locked in, and that's what we're up against. And the left cares about a lot of things, and we have disagreements on how we can win things. We have disagreements about how we move forward as a country, but there's overlap in many of the things that we actually care about, right? And we have to figure that out, and we have to keep figuring out where we are united in our messaging, and we have to be a little bit more militant in our messaging and be more united on that, because we've seen what works, right? We have to use what's available to us. What strategies have worked in the past, including the ones for our enemies because they keep winning. And the left has to suck at losing. We have to start sucking at losing. We have to start getting better at winning. And our arguments are better. Our solutions and our policies are better and would serve a lot more people. So we have to stop the infighting. And again, lots of money in making content on the right. Pretty much no money on the left. There are some prominent figures like Brian Taylor Cohen. I suspect I don't have proof of this, but I believe the DNC funds Brian Taylor Cohen. I think he was their chosen person to answer the question of how do we get a Joe Rogan on the left. And Brian Taylor Cohen is not a leftist. He is right of center. And I like some of the things that he does, but I'm also suspicious of him because he tends to punch left a lot. And people, that's the same is true for Midas Touch. There's a lot of these creators that work directly with some of our politicians in the Democratic Party. I think some of those guys are getting funded to spread messages. And again, like generally speaking, I don't have a problem with that as long as what they're saying is true. But I really don't want people that are going to poo poo some of the ideas that are essential that going forward. Like we need to dismantle the systems that are holding everything back, right? Like we have to overturn Citizens United. We need to be moving towards universal programs because those are going to be the hardest to defeat once we get them implemented. Um, we can't do these like means testing is garbage. I don't think means testing programs is a good idea. And again, I'm not the king leftist here. I'm just saying what I think, and you can take it or leave it. But we have to get money out of politics, and we have to start winning back some of our rights, and we have to answer the needs of the people. Um, we need to get some more money in people's hands. We need to get things like housing decommodified. We need to strengthen communities and community programs and reinvest in American citizens, and that's all people. And we have to do a progressive wealth tax, in my view. So, yeah, all that being said, it's a 46-minute video so far. So I'll have to cut this up. All right, you guys. I just wanted to say my 2 cents, and then I hope you guys are doing okay. Stay safe. Um, keep resisting peacefully. Try not to let the news get you down. I know that watching the world as it is right now is just a very scary thing.